There comes a moment, not in a lifetime, but in a single day, where everything can change. Not because the world shifts, not because luck appears, but because you decide it must. You are not waiting for the right time. The right time is waiting for you. You are one decision away from a completely different life. History does not remember the people who waited. It remembers the people who moved, who defied the odds, who stared into the storm and said, "If the path doesn't exist, I'll carve one." That is the moment when the average life ends and the designed life begins. But most never reach it. Why? Because they don't understand this truth. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you decide for. There is a war happening inside you, a battle between two voices. One whispers, "Play it safe." The other roars, "Risk everything for what you believe in." One says, "You're not ready." The other screams, "You were born ready." And in every moment, you choose which voice wins. That choice, that one decision, separates the person who lives by default from the person who lives by design. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before the light bulb was born. Do you think he saw failure? Or did he make a decision that no matter what, he would find the way? Henry Ford was laughed at when he said he would build a horseless carriage. He had no blueprint, no approval, no applause, just a decision that he would think for himself and bet on what he saw in his mind more than what others could see with their eyes. And Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Can you imagine that? The man who built an empire of dreams was once told he had none. But he made a decision. He chose to believe in the world inside his mind more than the world outside of it. That's the power of decision. It's not about knowing the outcome. It's about committing to the vision so deeply that the outcome is forced to appear. Most people think life is about chance, but the truth is, life is about choice, not comfort, not luck, not waiting for a sign, but about the courageous, terrifying, beautiful act of choosing. Choosing to rise when it's easier to sleep. Choosing to show up when no one's watching. Choosing to build something no one believes in yet. Your mind is not a mirror. It's a weapon. But like any weapon, it can be misused. It can be turned inward. It can be dulled by doubt, by fear, by the slow poison of procrastination. But with one decision, it becomes a tool of creation. It becomes the engine of destiny. You don't need to change everything right now. Just one thing, just one decision.
Look around you. Everything you see, the buildings, the companies, the inventions, the movements, every single one of them started in the invisible. A spark, a thought, a moment of imagination that refused to die. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he built. And Abraham Lincoln, he failed in business, lost multiple elections, suffered breakdowns, but still stood tall to lead a divided nation. These weren't accidents. These were minds that refused to bow. Because a mastered mind doesn't bend with the winds of opinion. It builds anchors in purpose. It roots itself in vision. It says, "You may not believe in me yet, but I do." And belief, when held long enough, becomes fact. But you can't fake it. You can't pretend to believe and expect results, Because the universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are, what you rehearse in your solitude, what you see in your silence, what you affirm even when no one claps. This is the battle of self-mastery, and it is brutal. It is the quiet war waged at 5 a.m. when the bed is warm and the dream is cold. It is the voice that says, just one more hour of work when no one's watching. It is the mindset that sacrifices distraction for destiny. And it is won by those who understand one powerful truth. Your mind is a servant or a saboteur, but it is never neutral. Leave it untrained and it will feast on fear. But discipline it and it becomes a weapon sharper than steel. You don't rise by chance. You rise because you command your focus like a general commands troops. You say no to what does not serve your mission. You say yes to the grind that builds your name. And make no mistake, your name is being built, even now. With every thought you allow, every standard you set, every limit you accept or shatter, you are constructing the architecture of your life. And what you tolerate, you teach yourself to accept. So don't just dream big, think big. Not just about what you want, but who you must become to earn it. You want wealth? Then you must think like the wealthy do. You want purpose? Then you must live like your time matters. You want freedom? Then you must take control of what owns your attention. Because freedom doesn't come from escape, it comes from alignment, when your mind, your actions, and your values move as one. There's no hack for this, no shortcut, no cheat code. You will have to suffer, you will have to stretch, you will have to outlast everyone who chose comfort over character. But what you gain will be unshakable. Not the shallow validation of followers or fame, but the deep, fire-tested confidence of someone who knows, I built this, I earned this, I am this. That is the prize of a mastered mind. Not just achievement, but identity. Not just outcomes, but ownership. And it starts with the simple, unglamorous habit of choosing the hard thing again and again, until the hard thing becomes easy, until clarity becomes your compass, until resilience becomes your reflex, until faith becomes your fuel. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop hoping for easier conditions. The storm is never going to calm down for you. You have to become stronger than the storm. And that strength doesn't come from your bank account, your followers, or your background. It comes from the quiet place inside that says, I've decided who I am, and I'm not turning back. Let this truth echo through every corner of your soul. You do not need more motivation. You need more intention. The world is full of people who are inspired for 5 minutes and unchanged for a lifetime. They scroll, they nod, they agree, and then they go back to their comfort zones, prisoners of a mindset they never challenged. But you are not here for that. You are not here to feel good for a moment. You are here to become great for a lifetime. And greatness is not about applause. It's not about recognition. It's about alignment between what you think, what you speak, and what you do consistently, even when no one's watching. Because the secret weapon of every champion is internal congruence. When your beliefs match your words, and your words match your actions, and your actions reflect your values, then you are unstoppable. But this alignment doesn't come by accident. It comes by the daily work of removing what does not belong. It comes by burning away the distractions that dilute your purpose. It comes by standing guard at the gates of your mind every single day. You think clarity will just show up? No. Clarity is carved through reflection, solitude, and ruthless honesty. It is forged in those nights when the world is asleep and you're staring at your ceiling asking yourself, is this who I want to be? And if the answer is no, then you change. You don't wait, you don't blame, you don't wish, you move. Because that moment right there is sacred. That's the moment most people avoid. They numb it with distraction, they bury it under busyness, but not you. You face it, you listen to it, and you respond. Because that voice inside you, it's your future self whispering, I'm waiting, but I won't wait forever.
Do you hear it? That future version of you, the one with clarity, peace, power, purpose, is not out of reach. It's already inside you, buried beneath every excuse, sleeping behind every delay, muted by every false belief you inherited from the world. You were never meant to be average. You were born with the fire of possibility in your bones. But fire, left untended, burns out. And that's what happens to most people. They settle. They shrink. They silence their own potential for the comfort of routine. But routine without purpose is a slow death. Purpose is oxygen. It revives you. It expands your lungs when life tries to suffocate you. It makes the pain make sense. You think that discipline is hard? Try living without purpose. Try waking up with nothing to fight for. Try building a life around what's easy instead of what's meaningful. That's what breaks people. Not failure, emptiness. And that's why mastering your mind isn't a luxury. It's your lifeline. Because if you don't choose your thoughts will choose your life. And they'll do it without mercy. They'll whisper lies like, you're not ready. You're too late. You don't have what it takes. And if you listen long enough, you'll start to believe them. But belief is a tool. It can build or destroy. And you get to decide how to use it. Start believing in your ability to rewire yourself. Because the science is on your side. Your brain isn't fixed. Your personality isn't permanent. Neuroplasticity is real. Change is possible. You are not the result of your past. You are the architect of your future. But architects don't wish buildings into existence. They design, they plan, they execute. So design your mindset. Plan your days with intention. Execute with discipline. And remember, it's not about doing it once. It's about doing it until you don't recognize the old version of yourself. Until the vision becomes reality, until your name becomes a symbol of what's possible. And when that day comes, and it will, don't be surprised. Because you didn't just dream it, you built it, you became it, you earned it, one thought at a time.
Everything you want is already waiting, not in the hands of someone else, not locked behind some gate you don't have the key to, but behind the version of you that you haven't fully met yet. The version built in sweat, in silence, in relentless repetition. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. And the blueprint begins in the mind. The world will throw storms at you. It will test you. It will shake the ground beneath your feet. But if your inner foundation is unshakable, you will not fall. That is what separates the weak from the world builders, the masters of their fate. They don't pray for easier lives. They pray for stronger minds. They don't react, they respond. They don't chase validation, they stand in truth. Because they know external chaos is powerless against internal order. When your values are clear, decisions become simple. When your purpose is known, distractions lose their power. When your mind is trained, fear becomes fuel. But don't confuse clarity with ease. Clarity doesn't eliminate resistance. It just makes the fight worth it. So when the pain comes, and it will, don't run. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the price of transformation. Every muscle you build, every skill you master, every weakness you confront, it all begins in pain. But here's the secret. Pain is feedback. It means you're doing something that matters. You think Carnegie didn't suffer? You think Nelson Mandela didn't break inside? You think Martin Luther King didn't wake up afraid? They all did. But they decided in the darkness that their cause was louder than their fear, that their vision was worth the war. that their minds would be forged in fire and come out steel. That's the kind of mental commitment you need. Not the kind that's excited on Monday and defeated by Wednesday. The kind that wakes up every day with a declaration. I will not betray the future I believe in. Let that become your battle cry. Write it on your mirror. Say it out loud. Etch it into your identity. Because the world is full of dreamers. But the world belongs to the disciplined thinkers. The ones who act without applause. Who move with vision when there's no guarantee. Who keep showing up when no one notices. Because eventually, they will notice. When your life becomes undeniable. When your results scream louder than your excuses ever did. When your mind radiates such focus, such peace, such energy that people can feel it when you walk into the room. That's the power of a mastered mind. It doesn't just change your life, it elevates your presence. You become the lighthouse in a storm. Not because the waves stopped crashing, but because you decided to stay rooted when others drifted. And when others wonder how you did it, how you kept going, how you kept rising, you'll smile. Because you'll.
So from this moment on, make a vow. A vow to yourself, not a soft wish, not a casual goal. A vow etched into your being. To guard your mind like a temple. To feed it truth, not noise. To train it with discipline, not doubt. To challenge it daily, not coddle it with comfort. Because when your mind is mastered, so is your time. So is your energy. So is your destiny. And all that's left is to walk it out. The greatest war you will ever fight is the one no one sees. It is not on battlefields or stages. It is not in boardrooms or arenas. It is waged in silence, in the stillness between your ears, in your mind. And you are fighting it every single day. Every time you choose discipline over distraction. Every time you rise when quitting feels easier. Every time you face the brutal truth of who you've been so you can become who you were born to be. That is the real victory. Not the car, not the title, not the applause, but the man or woman you had to become to earn it all. Because that version of you, powerful, focused, unshakable, was always in there. Not missing, just buried. Beneath excuses, beneath fear, beneath years of believing lies that were never yours to carry. But now it's time. Time to rise, time to reclaim your mind, time to break every invisible chain that's kept you smaller than you were destined to be. No more waiting, no more overthinking, no more looking to others for permission. This is your permission. This is your call. This is your line in the sand. From this day forward, you are the master of your thoughts, the master of your emotions, the master of your reactions, the master of your identity. You decide what enters. You decide what stays. You decide what gets built. You are the gatekeeper. You are the builder. You are the creator. And no matter what life throws at you from this point forward, you will not crumble. You will not be shaken. You will not hand over the keys to your mind ever again. Because now you know the truth. The mind is the beginning of everything. You don't change your life by changing the world. You change the world by changing your life. And you change your life by mastering your mind. Master your mind and your energy becomes focused. Master your mind and your vision becomes magnetic. Master your mind and your actions become legendary. And when that happens, when your internal world burns with purpose and peace and power, then the external world bends to match it. not by chance, not by luck, but by alignment. You were never meant to be average. You were never meant to suffer under the weight of doubt. You were made to rise, to build, to lead, to love fiercely, and live fully. And that future, the one you've dreamed of silently for years, is already unfolding. But it doesn't start out there. It starts in here. So say it now. Say it with everything in you. I will master my mind. I will master my thoughts. I will master my life. And nothing will ever own me again. This is your mind. This is your life. And now you own both.